Welcome to RAD CHAT with Brandilynn. I'm your host, and before we get started today, our sponsor is Bricks and Mansions. He hooked it up, gave me so many clothes. You guys go check them out, Bricks and Mansion. Follow them, tag them, buy their stuff. It's so awesome, comfortable. The material's not cheap. It's really good quality. Go check them out. So today, my special guest is Alex. He's a filmmaker, photographer with Carnival Pictures. Welcome.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I know it's a little crazy of a time, so I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. So how did you first get started in becoming a photographer, filmmaker? Do you want to just start with maybe one and then we'll go to the second one?
Yeah, for sure. So back in 2008, 2009, you know, we weren't living in LA at that time. We were living in Inland Empire in Rialto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So actually, my brother, he went to music school. So he went to school for recording. So he told me about the LA Film School.
Oh, nice.
And so I went to go check out the LA Film School in Hollywood, and then I signed up and I started attending. So I did the 2-year program at the LA Film School, and while I was learning film, at the same time I was picking up photography.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing a lot of like student films, behind the scenes shoots.
Oh, nice.
And then my brothers were also working in the industry. We're doing a lot of car shows at that time.
Oh,
and
shit.
then I started shooting car shows, and I started shooting those type of events. And then my brother got into a magazine, Music Connection magazine.
Ooh.
And he started doing live reviews. And so he kind of got us in the game to shoot concerts, and then we started shooting concerts.
Oh,
and then from concerts,
That's a lot at once.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, we started doing that, and then I started networking with the other photographers that I met and other PR people. Then I started shooting red carpet events. Then for red carpet events, I went to sports, and then sports, I just been kind of just running around those circles,
So do you feel like your photography and your filmmaking are just hand in hand, or do you ever feel like you're just focused on photography or you're just focused on filmmaking? But it seems that you started in filmmaking and then transitioned to all these different platforms.
Yeah, definitely. So filmmaking was kind of like the launch board for me to get into the industry. So at that time, I never intended it to become a photographer.
Okay.
It just happened,
Gotcha.
And while I was learning my camera and learning, how to shoot, I just started from the bottom, I just started watching, YouTube videos, learning how to shoot, and then
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube University, and then just actually going out there and shooting. So back in those days, back in 2010, 11, 12, I wasn't really a professional photographer. I was an amateur, but shooting in professional settings.
Gotcha.
So that's how I kind of learned. I had to learn on the spot,
Do you feel like, I feel like in my case, like in my experience, sometimes learning on the spot is better because you're just getting in it. You really like have the drive to be like learning, like soaking everything up like a sponge. Do you feel like that helped you, or do you feel like it was like a little like, oh my God, a little nervous?
No, it was getting thrown into the mix and then just proving myself.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I have an opportunity to be here at this, huge concert at, the Hollywood Bowl or Microsoft Theater or whatever. So we were there, and it was like, okay, I have to perform. Like, I have to make sure that these look good, and, I have to do my job. Yeah. So it was kind of like, yeah, at that time I was an amateur, but it was like I was in a professional setting, so I still had to perform and get the job done.
Yeah. Do you feel like, so you said you were an amateur at the time when you first started with photography.
Yeah.
When did you have the moment where you were like, okay, now I'm legit a filmmaker and legit a photographer?
I think, with the filmmaking, I was doing short films, and I'm still working on, working on a project now, but with the photography, I think it was other people telling me that you're a professional.
That you're good.
Because I was always like thinking to myself, oh, like they're good, but I'm not a professional, until people in my circles were telling me, no, you're a professional, and then my mind switched over, and then I said, oh yeah, I'm a professional. But I think a lot of artists deal with that issue too. They think like they're not professionals, but really, they're doing professional work.
And it's probably even more empowering coming from your peers, because as an artist, we're very in our heads and, self-doubt or insecure, and then you're really you go through moments. So I feel like coming from your peers, that's probably more empowering to be like, oh shit, okay, maybe I am good.
Yeah, and I actually have a couple of mentors that I've been working with. Yeah, I have a friend, she lives in New York. She actually mentored me for years.
Oh, nice. Do you want to talk about her?
Yeah. Her name is Debbie, but she's a professional.
Shout out to Debbie.
Shout out to Debbie from New York. And I met her at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was shooting at a concert one day, and then we met there. And then from New York, she would just send me messages through Facebook on like different events. And then actually, she actually booked me a couple of gigs. So she got me a gig to shoot the LA Dodgers.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then she booked me a gig to shoot the LA Rams.
Oh,
so
shit.
yeah,
That's freaking awesome.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so she taught me, you know, just literally from what 2,000-3,000 miles away. So she just kept, you know, sending me messages. This is what you do here, and I kind of just got thrown into these professional environments, and then I had to like, you know, do my job.
Yeah. How do you feel like it is to, you mentioned like Hollywood Bowl and Dodgers and Rams. What is that feeling to be in that setting? Like I've been to so many concerts at the Hollywood Bowl, and it's so huge of a venue.
Yeah.
And especially like Dodger Stadium and the Rams Stadium. What is that feeling like for you to shoot at those elements?
It's exciting stuff, you know, like when I first shot, you know, it was the Dodgers versus the Marlins. You know, my first time, you know, being down in it's called the Well. So it's kind of like the photo pit, but it's called the Well. So when I went down there, it's like I have to go get my badge. I'm running around the stadium trying to figure out where I'm going to be at what time. And when you get onto the field, there's different rules. It's not like you can just walk on there because there's like coaches and baseball players and fans and referees. You have to follow the rules. Like so I didn't know what to do. So pretty much at that time, it was kind of I was relying on the other photographers. So I would watch them, and whenever they moved, I moved. So it was like just me shadowing them.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting. You know, you see like thousands and thousands of fans. And you know, it's kind of like, you know, a lot of people are on, you know, at home watching the game, and you're at the game shooting professional players. It's, you know, it's a good feeling. You know, it's a good feeling. And then when I shot the LA Rams versus the Falcons, that was a huge event. That was actually the hardest photography gig that I ever got.
Really? Why is that?
It was because I was working for, you know, my friend Debbie out of New York, and so I had a shot list. I had a 2-page shot list of all the players that I had to get, what type of shots I needed to get. So a football field is huge with thousands of people. There's so many people on the sidelines, and it's my first time there. So
it's intimidating.
If, for example, I'm like, you know, I'm in one area of the field, and there's a player like number 24 is on the other side of the field, and she needs 24. So I got to run around the field to get number 24. But by the time I get there, he's already to the other side of the field, and you know, so I'm just running.
That's stressful.
It is stressful. That was the hardest game that I ever did. I think that entire day that I was there was an 8-hour day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so, you know, at that time she was working. She was an editor for a newspaper out on the East Coast.
Oh, nice.
And so how newspapers work is, you know, it's, you know, media is right away, so it's all news coverage. Yeah. So pretty much as soon as I finished shooting, I had to get home, edit, and send all the photos literally overnight.
Dang.
So it's very stressful, you know. Yeah. You're in a time crunch. Same thing with the shooting the Major League Baseball, and shooting boxing, and shooting UFC.
UFC too?
Well, not UFC, sorry, mixed martial arts, Bellator. So I was shooting Bellator. Nice. And you know, Golden Boy Promotions, and every shoot that I do for red carpets, it's overnight. Yeah. You shoot, they need it within the first few hours.
So do you feel like you're so used to those time crunch because you've kind of been in a flow of doing those time crunch, or was it the beginning like really hard? Like you're up all night, you're editing, you gotta get it out.
I think like transitioning from like concerts to red carpet events to sports, there was a big difference because I was shooting I still shoot for Music Connection magazine. I shoot concerts for them. So that's a magazine. They have time to put together the articles, put it together. They have, you know, a few days, few weeks to get everything ready. Yeah. For the news media, for the wire media, which I shoot for a couple of wire agencies, nice. They need it. It goes out to publication overnight, like within the first hour, within the first 30 minutes, honestly.
That's crazy.
So I'll shoot a red carpet event, I'll shoot a movie premiere in Hollywood, and there's photographers with their laptops next to them, so they'll shoot, upload, and then send their photos right away. Yeah. So it gets very, very stressful sometimes, and sometimes, you know, there's times where I've been up to 3 o'clock in the morning just trying to edit photos and get everything ready, because by the time the editor wakes up, it has to be in their inbox. Exactly.
Do you feel like it has a toll being that stressful, or you feel like you're kind of just used to it now?
I think I'm kind of just used to it now. I think there are, you know, certain situations where I'll shoot an event, I'll shoot a red carpet event, or I'll submit like 50 photos, right? I edit 50 photos, send them off, and then I'll be at work the next day because I work, full time as well.
Oh shit! So this is not even your full time.
No,
job.
that's my side gigs.
What,
Yeah.
dude? What's your full time job?
So my full time job, I work at Keslow Camera.
Oh, okay.
I've been a supervisor there for 2 years, so
Nice.
we're working in the camera department. So
that probably goes hand in hand. Like very easy for you to do something like that.
it does, but it's like managing, working, a 10 to 12 hour day, plus shooting at night, plus editing, plus shooting on the weekends.
How do you have time in your day? Like, where is your time?
That shooting and being creative and building my career, that's where my head's at, and but the stress, I think, is kind of like you just have to live with it. You kind of walk into this knowing that's what it's gonna be, because even before I joined the wire agencies, so I shoot for 2 different wire agencies, I did my research and I found out what they do, and my friend Debbie from New York was actually coaching me and telling me this is what we do, this is how it is. Okay. And so when I started off, I knew what it was gonna be, and it was exactly that. It was the time crunch. It was like shooting.
It's good that you already kind of knew what to expect.
Exactly. So I'm kind of used to it now. I know the flow. So if I book out a gig, I know for a fact that I'm going to be editing for the next couple of hours as soon as I get home. Mm-hmm.
You said that you do you get like a shot list. Can you explain what that is for maybe someone like me who doesn't really know the nitty gritty of photography?
Yeah, for sure. So sometimes there's a shot list. So pretty much it's kind of like, what shots do you get? Do you get a close up? Do you get a wide shot? Do you get, a cast shot? Do you get, a master shot? Like, there's different shots that some of these agencies they need, or magazines need. And just working in the film industry, I kind of merged the two as photography and film, so I know what kind of shots to get. So if I were to do a close-up of you, I know it's going to be right here. A medium shot's right here, a full shot's down here. So I kind of know a wide shot or a cast shot. If let's say I'm shooting a movie premiere, and the entire cast of Stranger Things shows up, I know to get a cast shot and then individual shots,
Of the actors.
Yeah, so it's kind of like all the shot list is actually in my head.
Gotcha.
When I shot the NFL for the first time, I had a 2-page shot list because it was my first time doing it, so I had to look at the shot list and know what to get. But the shot list is in my head, so I kind of know all the shots I need to get for the event.
Just from doing it so long, it's just memorized.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a lot. That's so many venues and crazy things that people would probably dream to be on. How is that feeling to be on a red carpet and be booked at Hollywood Bowl or be booked at major league sports and etc.?
Yeah, it's actually it's a great feeling, because it's like when I show up to these events, I'm on the guest list, I'm on the media list.
Yeah.
So pretty much there's a section for the general public where they have to wait in line, get their ticket, go through that whole process. We're on a completely different line. It's all media photographers, journalists, videographers. They have a separate line, so they call my name out and my publication or who I'm shooting for that day, and I'm in right away. I'm front row. I'm on the red carpet. I've shot.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I've shot everybody. I've shot Mariah Carey. I've shot filmmakers. I've shot I've shot Rob Zombie, Snoop.
I've shot Rob Zombie. I met him. He was a nice dude.
It's like I've shot pretty much every single celebrity out there. Musician. So it's kind of like we're front row, and it's like, I talked to Jamie Foxx once, where Jamie Foxx was at the BET Awards, and he had his sunglasses on. I was like, hey, Jamie, can you take off your glasses? And he took off his glasses.
You got your shot?
Yeah, I got my shot.
Nice.
I shot Marilyn Manson. He was walking in front of me, and I was like, hey, Marilyn, let me get a shot. He came up right to my camera, took some close-ups of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I'm right there. I'm standing literally 2 feet away from them. So it's like,
and they know what to expect because they're just big mainstream people.
Yeah, exactly. So there's opportunity to not mingle with them, but at least have a couple words with them, and they kind of respond to me.
That's awesome. Did you ever have an experience where you were almost starstruck in a sense when you first started? Maybe it's probably so used to it now.
I think the only time, I've been starstruck before, but I think one of the funniest times I got starstruck was when I first graduated film school. I got a gig. My first gig was working at Paramount Pictures. Oh, nice. So I was a PA runner, working on the studio's lot. So I was there for a few months. And there's not Starbucks, but what's the other coffee shop? Coffee Bean. There's a Coffee Bean.
They have really good hot chocolate. I don't know if you've had if you like hot chocolate, but dude, go when it's cold out. Coffee Bean hot chocolate with only almond milk. You're gonna love. I'm telling you, you're gonna love. Think about it next time.
I'll try it. So I was working as a PA, as a production assistant, and I was running around Paramount Studio lot. And so one of my jobs was to go get coffee for the office.
The stereotypical first job.
Exactly, so it was cool.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, so it was cool. So I was at the Coffee Bean. So I'm out there, I'm walking out the front door with a tray full of coffee, and there's this tall guy with long hair, big boots, blocking the doorway. So I'm trying to get out with my coffee. So I open up the door and he's like blocking the door. So I kind of like push the door open so I can get out. And I look at him and it's Rob Zombie, and he looks at me and I look at him and I was like, oh shit, it's Rob Zombie.
So he's really that tall, huh?
Yeah, well, he was wearing some big boots, you know, and so him and his entourage start walking. And this is like the first celebrity I seen at Paramount Pictures. So
yeah, he probably was working on what, his like
probably Halloween at that time. Yeah, at that time. So then his whole entourage starts walking, and so I'm following them with my coffee, just following their entourage because I want to see where they're going. And then next thing you know, everybody turns and looks at me, and I just stop and I just turn around and walked out the door.
Dude, I would totally like, I'm just following the crew. I have your guys' coffee. You don't know where I'm going with this coffee. That was hilarious.
Yeah, so that was like the first time I got starstruck. I was like, okay.
Cool. I remember when I met him, he had super long hair, but I think I was so, like, kind of a teenager, so I didn't really like have to look up. But imagine like you're bringing coffee, trying to get through the door, and this fucking dude's in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. That's a good story.
So you know, and I mean, over time you kind of get used to it. You kind of shoot the same celebrities over and over again, so the starstruck, you know, vibe goes down. You know, but there's, you know, certain times where it's just people that you admire their work. You know, you see them and you want to get good shots of them. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
Do you have a favorite venue you like? Are concerts your favorite, or carpets, or? I
think like I shot plenty of times at like Man's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, Hollywood Bowl, the Microsoft Theater. I think for me, like the venue, I like shooting boxing a lot because boxing, I'm shooting ringside. You know, it's a live event. You know, there's blood, sweat, and tears going in it, and you're right in the middle of the action. So I enjoy shooting boxing a lot.
Do you do a lot of those, or they kind of come and go?
They kind of come and go. So I've been shooting on and off through my agencies for Golden Boy Promotions. So I'll shoot at Belasco Theaters downtown LA or the Avalon in Hollywood. And you know, we shoot live fights. So these are like Thursday night fights, you know, sponsored by Tecate. So it's kind of like I'm right there, and just like Oscar De La Hoya's there. There's always like Michael Cotto was there. Musicians are there. Just different celebrities showed up all the time.
Speaking about boxing, did you see that Mike Tyson's gonna try to come back?
I know, I saw that.
How do you feel about that?
I mean,
that gig.
No, Mike Tyson's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like if he were to come back for one more fight, yeah, of course, I want to be there, or I want to see, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he should come back like full time. He should just come back for one more.
I think they're doing like a charity event or something.
Yeah, exactly. If he came back for one more, because it's like some of these, you know, younger guys that are coming up, like Tyson Fury, you know, Deontay Wilder and stuff like that. If they were to, you know,
that fight was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Uniform, and he blamed it on the uniform.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so but there's a lot of strong guys out there, so it's kind of like. You know, Mike Tyson gets into the ring with, you know, like a Tyson Fury, you know, it might not end so well, but it's kind of like, you know, for him to come back and fight, you know, somebody around his age, like, yeah, exactly, you know, it'll be cool to see him. Yeah.
I know, I love watching like UFC and all that, and so in boxing, like even listening to Joe Rogan like talk about it and his commentary of it, it's so good. You're just like in that action of watching it that I can only imagine being ringside shooting it, like holy shit. Right ringside,
it's fun, but it's like if somebody get hit, then you're gonna get hit with sweat or blood.
Have you ever?
Yeah, it happens. It happens to the photographers, but you have to keep you're shooting, but then at the same time you got to keep your eye on the fighters coming near you, because if a fighter gets hit and he's sweating, you know, buckets, that sweat's gonna fly on you. You know, that blood is gonna fly on you. So it's kind of, you have to just back up and jump back and forth.
Multitask in that sense.
Yeah, so if you're shooting on the other side of the ring, then you're good. But you know he's right in front of you. You got to kind of back up a little bit.
Do you feel like you have a specific style when you shoot, or do you just like have a specific cameras that you like to shoot with? I
mean, I shoot Canon, so I shoot with two different Canon cameras. I shoot with a mirrorless and I shoot with a DSLR.
Oh, nice.
So and depends what the venue is. If I'm shooting like a live, like sporting event, like boxing, I'll use my mirrorless, and then if I'm shooting the red carpet, I'll use a DSLR.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, so my DSLR, I need to use my flash.
Okay.
So that one hooks up to my flash, and then when I'm using my mirrorless, that one's more, I don't need a flash, so I can kind of move around quicker with that.
Okay. Nice. Do you feel like over the years of doing this now, like filmmaking, photography, how has that shaped you as a person?
I think it's just, you know, opened up the doors of like what else is out there. You know, a lot of people, they'll watch entertainment on, you know, social media, or they'll watch it on TV, and you know, they see the glamour and they see the excitement and they see like, oh, that's the world. But when you're in there, it is the same thing, but there's a lot of hard work that goes behind it. And I think, you know, just over the years developing that mindset of this is hard work, this is real work, it's a real job, you know, has changed me to like, you know, okay, like, you know, this is a lifelong pursuit. There is no overnight success. There is no, you know, I'm gonna give it, you know, 12 months and I'm gonna be successful. There isn't. You have to like dedicate your life to it, and then you have to keep on doing it until whatever it is that you want to do happens.
Yeah, that's very inspiring for every avenue of life. Do you feel like when you were really getting into it and now, you know, more like professional into it, did you have like a moment where it maybe wasn't going the way you wanted it to go, and how did you overcome that? Yeah,
definitely. There's a lot of situations that are going to happen because the entertainment industry is like a roller coaster ride. You're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows, there's going to be the in-betweens, and you're going to have to deal with all of that. There are situations where, you know, for creating projects, you know, like right now I'm working on my new short film, and
let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm putting some of my personal finances into that just to get it started, you know. But there's a lot of things you have to do in the entertainment space to where it's like, okay, you have to like either raise funds for the project that you're trying to create, or you got to put your own personal finances into it to get it started and bring in a team of people to help you develop it and get it off the ground. But yeah, there's like, you know, there's stretches of times if you're freelancing, you know, luckily I work full time and also freelance, so I can bounce back and forth. And there are a lot of people in the entertainment industry who are just freelance. So even what's going on right now with, you know, the coronavirus is like the entertainment industry is shut down, you know, for pretty much the rest of the year. There's little pockets of work being done right now, but it's like the people who depend on just that, you know, just freelancing, they're hurting right now because they can't get that gig off the ground, or they can't get hired to a gig. And a lot of people working in these unions, or because there's two different film roles. I don't know, a lot of people don't understand that there's two different worlds in film. There's the union side, there's the
like the SAG and stuff,
like SAG, Local 600, like different like production designers, like these are union members who work for like Marvel, Batman, like these big time movies and TV shows. And then there's the independent side, independent filmmakers who are non-union, but they also work on projects and they depend on, you know, freelance gigs. So there's two different worlds of film.
Are you, which side are you?
Well, I'm kind of like in between. Gotcha. So it's like, I am an independent filmmaker, but I work in the professional film environment, you know, and then
you could book either or job.
I'm not a union member, but I'm like an SOC member. So I'm Society of Camera Operators. I'm an associate member as a photographer, and, you know, the work that I do as a production manager, stuff like that. But it's kind of like I jump back and forth all the time, and I mingle with both sides of it.
Which is probably really beneficial for you because you can kind of be anywhere. You're very chameleon-like. And especially in a time like this, I'm sure you're very blessed that you still have your real full-time job as well, especially in a time where everyone's
definitely. So we service the entertainment industry in my full-time job. So we service Paramount Pictures, Warner Brothers, you know, we do big shows for Netflix, Amazon, HBO. Nice. So I'm constantly in the mix with those people. So it's kind of like they may be union members, but I'm talking to them all day long, you know.
That's really cool. Do you feel like when you're like in a time like this where maybe you're not booking as many like red carpets or that stuff, you still feel like you're pretty busy on like dealing with the maybe working from home side?
Well, the good thing about that I'm not really shooting any you know, live events right now is I'm working on my film. So that's keeping me busy.
Nice.
Writing my script, you know, I just finished my script for my film.
Nice. Do you want to talk, or I know you're just kind of getting into the film, but is there anything you can tell us about the film?
Yeah, definitely.
Stay tuned for the film, of course. We'll definitely promote it for you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So the film, my film is called The Sun Rises.
Okay.
And it's pretty much about a story of a young man named Manny. Manny's a biker, but in the beginning of his life, his mother and father are dealing with immigration issues. So his father gets arrested by ICE before his eyes at an early age when he's a teenager, and that affects him growing up. You know, he had Manny and his family wanted him to have the American dream. He grew up in America. His parents are from, you know, South America. They came here. They wanted his child to, you know, to grow up and, you know, become successful as an American. And that's the path that he's on. And then one day ICE comes, snatches up his father, takes him away. So now his father is gone from his life, and his mother's forced to raise him, you know, and he goes from this kid who's a teenager who's just, you know, I want to be the straight and narrow, and he turns his life around. Manny becomes a biker, but he's like a rugged biker, like a lone wolf type of guy. And, you know,
it's a lot of depth.
Yeah, you know, so pretty much my story is about his story, but it has to do with police brutality, the way ICE treats the immigrants in this country. It has to do with there's a lot of police shootings that happen on the news, and a lot of what happened to me in my life I actually put into my script. So there are some situations where there's a young 13, 14-year-old kid in my story who gets pulled over by the police and the cops pull a gun out on him. In my story, he gets, I don't want to say what happens, but in real life,
you gotta watch, stay tuned.
Like when I was 13 years old, I got pulled over by the Rialto PD for the first time. And
13?
13. So Rialto PD, they pulled me over when I was riding my bike, pulled a gun to the back of my head, slammed me on the ground.
For what?
Because I fit the description of somebody he was looking for. So they handcuffed me. They actually brought in this woman came, drove by to identify me, and she told the cop that I'm not the person she was looking for.
Isn't that so crazy? I mean, of course, it's like very in the news right now, and some people are blind to it, which I don't understand that side of how people can be. But how can you just pull someone over when you don't even know if that's, and treat them like that? That is so sick.
Yeah, I mean, this happens all the time, like in minority communities, the African American community, Latino communities. And my film touches on what's happening in the Latino community because in the mainstream media, they make it a black and white issue.
That's true. That's a good point. But it's not just.
It's just not that side. You saw what happened to the jogger, a few weeks ago, who was.
Dude, that video is so brutal.
Exactly. So, like in the Latino community, with the interviews that I'm doing, is actually interviewing people who have dealt with police harassment and brutality, and then that's going to go into our project. So that's what I'm working on.
That's amazing that you're bringing to life such another side of it that's not publicized, because that's not only your community and your culture, but you're bringing that so everyone can be aware of it. Like, dude, that's so rad. I really appreciate that there's people like you that do that and bring it out, because we need filmmakers to bring that into the light, because otherwise people are just blind to it, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that this is something that's been on my mind for a while. So in my lifetime, honestly, like I've been pulled over almost 30 times in my life. Vegas PD, LA PD, Rialto PD, Kansas City PD, Irvine PD. So it's like everywhere I go is kind of like a constant thing.
That's so terrible.
So it's kind of like this is something that I've dealt with, so I'm making a story out of it. I'd rather use my artwork to tell that story and to fight back with my artwork. A lot of people, they'll probably do something more extreme, but I'd rather speak with it with a film.
Yeah, that's gonna go way like miles, because filmmaking and movies, we go to see them to get lost in that story, and if it's based on a true story, people are even more touching to that, and it'll bring to life such a great message that you're doing.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that's a very personal message, and your own personal life, you say, is going to be into this film? How is that emotionally for you?
I mean, there's some elements of my life going into it, not all of it. Majority of it is this character that I created, but there's some bits and pieces that I put from my life and like people that I know from their life, so it just intertwined. But I mean, it's a passion project, so I've been working on this for years, and emotionally, it's kind of like, I'm diving into my work, diving into the script, diving into the producing, the directing of it, so it's kind of like I'm putting my all into it to where, I wanted to see it fulfilled. So I want to see this thing created, shoot it, film it, direct it, see it on the screen, submit it to film festivals, have a screening with family and friends and industry professionals, and I want to put it out there. So, I don't know yet, because I'm not at the end of it yet.
You're just kind of like focused on getting it there.
I'm focused on getting it there, but I don't know, maybe the day we do the premiere, maybe, I don't know, I'll break down and start crying on stage. I don't know.
Well, I feel like that would be amazing though, because then you'll really, I've heard that before, like, for instance, this is not really related, but I watched the Elton John documentary, and the guy that plays Elton John said he watched the movie at the premiere with Elton right next to him, and he said Elton like started to shed a tear a little bit of watching his life on film, and I'm sure like you're in a sense will be almost like that, watching a piece of your life or parts of your life on film. Like, I'm sure that'll be a moment for you. Maybe if you cry or not, but still like a powerful moment to see it on the big screen.
It's a very like nerve-wracking moment, because I've had other short films in the past that went to film festivals or I've screened them before, and it's a very nervous feeling because you're showing your project that you put everything you have into it with an audience. Some people some people you don't know. You don't know what the feedback's gonna be. You don't know if people like it, hate it, whatever, you know. And I just remember several times, like when I graduated film school, I showed my thesis film. That was a nervous moment because I'm like, my heart's racing, but it's like, I'm looking at the audience, see like if people are gonna laugh when I'm supposed to laugh, get scared when I'm supposed to get scared. I did a little horror film at that time. And then I had some other films go to film festivals, but it's the same thing. You're in an audience with people you don't know pretty much, and they're judging your work, you know. So, you know, I've been lucky to win a couple of awards in the past for my films.
That's amazing. What awards have you won?
So I did a short film called Dark Moon.
Dark Moon, guys, we'll tag it here.
back in 2010, so it was a little horror film, little werewolf movie that I did. That actually won the special jury prize at the California Film Awards in San Diego.
Shit. Dude, good for you.
Yeah, and then it was also featured on Yahoo News. Yeah, so that was back in the days, and then I did another short film where I won I forgot the name of the award, but it was out down in Venice Beach, you know, so I got a couple things under my belt with that.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So this is just like amping it up even more, like especially if you're producing it, writing the script, and you're filming it yourself too?
No. I'm a hired professional crew. So right now I do have a producer, Amanda. She's been working with me for the past couple months.
Shout out Amanda.
Yep, exactly. And then she's been hustling and grinding, you know, getting a lot of stuff done for me. I have a professional DP that I'm talking to. So when I do shoot the film, you know, I'm gonna hire a real crew.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna raise, I think right now the budget that we're close to like 35,000 for the film that we want to raise. You know, that ballpark.
Do you have a place where people can, if they are interested in helping you make this film, is there a place they can go?
Not yet, but we are. So we're building towards that.
Okay.
So probably by the end of the year, because right now the film industry is shut down.
Yeah.
A lot of people, there's 44 million people out of work. The industry, in our industry, is like 200,000 people not working. So right now is not a good time to do any crowdfunding, but we're getting all the material ready. So when we do the crowdfunding, probably January, February, March of next year, and we want to make sure that other people are up and running on their feet, and then we can actually go out and start spreading the word out. But I'll be putting bits and pieces out on Instagram and social media in the next couple of months of everything that we're doing.
So we'll also stay tuned with that as well, and let us know. We'll tag it. Come do anything you need. We'll come do a RAD CHAT exclusive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll do all that.
Yeah. So do you already have like your actors, or you still have to like get your actors in line for that?
I casted a few actors. Not everybody yet, but just a few individuals that I already have planned for the film.
Okay.
So this summer, I plan on shooting and directing. I'm not shooting it myself. I have a DP who's going to shoot it for me, but I'm directing the trailer.
Oh, nice.
So I already wrote the script for the trailer. So this is something I think we're going to shoot probably August. So we're going to do guerrilla style. You know, just shooting. Guerrilla style means pretty much we have no permits. We're just going to go out and shoot in LA. You know.
Getting in the gritty.
Yeah, it's going to be like a nitty gritty.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
don't walk here.
Yeah, cops are coming and run. You know that.
Hey, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do that. I already have it planned out. So we're gonna get the trailer ready in a couple of months by this summer.
Which I'm sure it kind of probably comes natural because being a photographer, you kind of have to be like on the spot with like locations. Let's go here. Like let's go there. Like off camera, you were telling me you were in the location we are now, like just in the corner over there. Like hey, you gotta find your spot. Yeah,
it's a weird coincidence because I shot literally there 2 years ago.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into making a film. There's a lot of different elements. You know, there are filmmakers out there who, you know, they shoot, edit, write everything themselves. You know, you're also, you know, a podcaster, so you know how that is. And I do the same thing too.
Trying.
No, you're doing it. But it's like I do the same thing too. But with this one, I'm treating it. It's a film. It's a movie. So I'm like I said, I'm a hired professional crew, production designer, DP, grip and electric. You know, we're gonna have catering. Like it's gonna be a real production set, and we're gonna do it the right way.
Dude, that's sick. Well, guys, stay tuned for that. We'll post, and if you're looking for actors, we can reach out to the audience and see if anyone else wants to reach out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Nice. And then, is there anything? So, with filming and photography, how is it to shoot like if you're just obviously if you're doing a big concert, you're used to that, right? You've been shooting that, or a red carpet, you're used to the cast or getting your shots, as you said. When you're just doing like say like a one-on-one photography shoot, how is that different?
It's very different. So like for example, we shot one time.
Yeah, so I was like, let me go into that.
I don't know, for me it's kind of like,
is it harder or easier?
I think it's a little bit harder. It is harder for me because it's like if I'm gonna shoot like at a venue, the venue's already like a boxing venue, it's already lit, you know, and the action is already taking place in front of me. I have to capture that action. Or if I'm shooting the red carpet, I know the actors are gonna walk the red carpet and I have to shoot them at the right moment. I have to get the shots that I need. They're already there, so it's kind of like fast paced, just get through it. You know, shooting with you, for example, or, you know, another model, or, I have to do location scout, find the location, right lighting, different shots that are in my head, or let's say I find some shots online that are like, oh, I want to do something similar. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, and then we're shooting for maybe an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. When I'm at these venues, I'm shooting different things. I'm shooting whatever's going on in front of me. That's what I'm shooting, but it's constantly moving.
Yeah.
And this one, we're actually talking to each other, trying to get,
a good vibe going.
Yeah, exactly. So there's
different elements, like we shot on a motorcycle and on a car. So
yeah,
different.
Exactly. And then sometimes too, I shoot with a model, like, oh, I got 2 different looks, 3 different looks I want to do. So they, change out the clothing, and then you have to kind of be creative. Like, okay, what do I do now? Maybe we can move to this location, shoot it under the tree, shoot over here at the bench. It just kind of shoot inside a car or whatever.
On the spot, I guess.
It is on the spot. You just have to be creative with it. Like, you have to kind of just direct it. Like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm thinking. And you're involved with that person. On the other side of entertainment, and depending on what it is, it's like I'm not really involved with them. Yeah. I'm just capturing those moments. Yeah,
that's cool. It's really interesting to see that difference in someone. And I'm sure that filmmaking also helps you direct when you just have a single person when you're shooting. Do you have any advice for people that are watching or want to get into it that you would like to kind of say? Yeah,
definitely. I have a few people that have contacted me over the years about photography, and what I've noticed is a lot of up and coming photographers or amateur photographers, that's how you start off as an amateur. That's how I started off. They want to go from here to here overnight. They literally want to shoot boxing, red carpets, NFL, everything right now. Yeah. Right now, they want it tomorrow. And it doesn't work.
Calm down, people.
It doesn't work that way. You got to build up your portfolio. You got to build up your networks. You have to know what you're doing. You got to get your foot in the door. Once you get your foot in the door, you have to network. You can't just get your foot in the door and then stay there. You have to network with people, make friends, meet other people, make them your colleagues, and just work your way up the ladder and contact them. You have to be contact them on social media, keep up with them, see how they're doing, take them out for coffee. And I've met people who are established filmmakers or photographers. I met one of my passions is also set photography, shooting photography for film. So I actually sat down with a very popular unit still photographer. He shoots for the TV show. It's the one, I forgot the name of the shows with Matthew McConaughey and
True Detective?
True Detectives.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so
that's great. The first season was the best.
Yeah, so he shoots all the still photography for True Detectives. I actually sat down and had lunch with him one day, and he kind of gave me his breakdown of how he came up in the industry. And it's not too much similar for mine. It's he hustled and grinded from the beginning, got his foot in the door on smaller film shoots, and worked his way up the ladder. Yeah. And that's how it is. So if anybody's up and coming, they just need to realize that you got to get your foot in the door, take that opportunity and make it work. Sometimes you have to work for free. Sometimes a lot of there's people that I have met in the past where they say, well, I'm not going to work for free. I want to get paid. But if you don't have anything on your resume, you're not going to get paid. You have to build up your portfolio, show people what you can do. Then somebody will hire you and pay you to do what you love.
That's really good advice, because I feel especially in Los Angeles where we are right now, everyone thinks that oh, I don't want to work for free, but you have to put your dues in. I feel especially when I was a model, becoming a model, I put so many dues in. I would shoot for anyone under the sun, anything I wanted, and then once you get your craft and your portfolio, you have so much more leverage to then use. Yeah. And I also really loved what you said about networking and how you'd bring them out to lunch and then or coffee. That is really great advice, especially now. It's really who you know, and that's where you get to where you're going, or in a sense. Yeah. And I think that's really inspiring that you would go out of your way, and also just to sit down and talk to someone to learn their story about how they got into it, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. I learned from other people, and you're a whole nother craft than I am, but your story and sharing that is so inspiring, especially for anyone watching or listening. Yeah. So that's really cool that even though you've made it in a sense, you're still going out of your way to keep networking, keep just trying to learn about other people's craft or how they did it. That's really inspiring. Yeah. That's really cool, and it shows that you're very humble, even though you're walking on red carpets and shooting boxing. That's really cool to know.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not even about status. It's about just connecting with good people and then building those relationships, And there's people that I know who are very established, and it's I have a good rapport with them and good relationship with them to where you just keep on going. Because when they see you that you're also hustling, doing your podcast and getting out there, they're gonna show you equal respect. Okay, you're actually doing the work that you love. So sometimes people don't look at it as I have to get paid today. You have to see it like, oh, I actually have the opportunity to do what I love today and make new friends and build that relationship. And then eventually, you know, you keep hustling, you figure out, you know, how that system works, you will break through. But it's, you know, it's not about just getting paid right away. Everybody has to get paid. Everybody has to pay their bills. You know, that's what it is. But if you're, you know, lucky enough to where you can get a full-time job working in the industry, you know, and then you can work on your side gigs, you know, on the weekends or at night, it's just part of the hustle. That's how I did it, and that's why I continue to do it, you know.
And that's awesome, because I feel like it being freelance, it really is about the hustle. Like if you're not hustling, are you really in love with what you're doing? Yeah. So that's awesome. Obviously, filmmaking and photography is such a passion of yours, and it just shows in your work. If you look at your Instagram, you can just see the passion you have in it, the way you talk about it. Now bringing your film in and the passion you're putting into your project is really inspiring. If there's anyone wanting to book you, obviously with, you know, COVID, maybe it's a little crazy, but post that, where can they find you? Are you booking for photo, like what kind of shoots or films? Like, just tell people what you're booking for. Yeah,
definitely. So, you know, if anybody does want to contact me, they can reach me on Instagram at carnival_pictures.
Carnival Pictures, guys.
Carnival Pictures, you know, and pretty much, you know, right now, if anything that has to do with sports, anything that has to do like with red carpets or, you know, concerts, you know, that stuff that I do. I do get individuals that contact me for specific, you know, photo shoots and things like that.
I have booked him, guys. Go.
So yeah, they can just contact me, let me know what they're trying to do, and then, you know, we'll go from there, you know. But it's right now, you know, at this moment in my life, I'm focusing full time on my film, getting that off the ground, co-producing it with my producer. We're doing that, and yeah, just getting the movie off the ground, and then I'll get back into photography, you know, when the doors open up again.
Nice. And then really quick, I should have asked this in the very beginning, but how did you come up with Carnival Pictures as your name?
Carnival Pictures was, so when I was in film school, you know, I was diving into, you know, film, photography, all this stuff at the same time. So I was shooting music videos, film, I was doing photography. So it was like, to me, I saw it as a carnival ride. So it was just like, so I kind of saw it like, you know, kind of like a freak show, sideshow. So then I kind of came up with the name Carnival Pictures, let's say, because when you come to me, it's kind of like a variety show. I'm just a carnival, just keep going in circles and circles.
Yeah. I love that. That's actually a good point, yeah, because you have a jack of all trades there going on. That's fun. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm so grateful to hear your story and that you would share it. I'm so excited for your film. Guys, stay tuned for the film. And thanks. Have a great night, guys.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool.